Let's talk about question 4. So the thing we want to do is similar to the previous question, but is a bit more complex. So still, the user will input a score, which is a float number, and then we'll scan it in and we give it a letter grade. So if score is greater than 80, letter A, and if it's from 60 to 80, it will B, so on and so forth. Okay, so uh, just now I mentioned it's more difficult than the previous one because you're asked to change this if and else state. Sorry, you're asked to change this if else statement to a switch statement. But you notice that the number here are float numbers. So how can you do that since switch can only do integers? All right, let's look at the answer then. So the key trick here is so let's talk about how you think of the problem, how you can think about the question. Okay, so first of all, you notice that switch can only take in integer values, but the score the user inputs are float. So um, you want to adjust the score from float to integer, and you also notice that um, the digit after the decimal point it isn't important at all. Indeed, in fact, the last digit in the integer part, the last digit doesn't matter at all. For example, 99 and 90 is the same thing. It's the same grade as A, right? 81 and 82 are the same grade. So what matters most is the digits rather than the decimal points, rather than the last digit. Okay, so we can simply divide the score by 10 and then make it an integer and then we switch on it. All right, that will be how we think of it. Let's look at the implementation. So we have float score, of course, we have a letter grade, and we have an integer, which is the adjusted score. Okay, enter a score, and then we divide the score by 10, and we assign the quotient to adjustment score. Because adjustment score is an integer, so the score divided by 10 will be an integer as well. It will be casted to an integer. So depending on the value, okay, so depending on the value, we will determine its interval. If the value is 10, 9, or 8, we'll assign it to A. If the value is 7 or 6, we'll assign it to B. If the value is 5, we'll assign it to C, so on and so forth. All right, so this is how we did it. Moving on to question number 5, which is a similar question. So it asks you to modularize the switch to C program given in question 3. That is, write a function compute grade. Write a new function that takes in the mark and return the grade. Okay? This function will be called in the main function. Let's have a look at question 3 again to see how we can do it better by modularizing it. Okay, question 3 is here. So we will write a function. We will extract this part out and write a function to compute, take in the score, and return a letter grade. Again, don't put this line into your new function. Okay? This line is in charge of output. We should let the function which computes the letter grade to return that letter instead of printing it out. All right? Let's have a look at the desired program. Okay, so then yeah, so you see here, after the score is entered, the grade, so compute grade will be called, and it will be the grade will be assigned to this variable here. Okay, so as for how the function is written, it's very same. It's very similar. So give a car grade, switching out the mark, and return the grade. All right, just as we discussed before.